Hi, welcome to Navigating the Truth. My name is Caroline Bell Tumblety, and this is actually my first show that aired on November 6th. I had a guest scheduled, but the guest never turned up, so I basically talked for 2 hours. If you would like to listen to the whole show, please go to kcorradio.com. Thanks very much.
Will you be ready?
And now, your host and navigator through these circles of lies, the host of Navigating the Truth, Caroline Bell Tumblety.
Hi, you are listening to KCOR Digital Radio live from Las Vegas, Nevada, and a warm welcome to Navigating the Truth. My name is Caroline Bell Tumblety, and I will be your guide as we navigate the truth. We had a guest set up for you, but we're having a little difficulty locating him, so I am just going to be talking, and I will share with you what my week was like. And I had my civic duty this week, and I was called to the courtroom where I was to be a participant in the jury. And let me tell you, that was very, very interesting. I'll set the picture for you. In the courtroom, they have the judge who sits high up, and then you have your defender your defense lawyer and your prosecutor. And then you had, in this case, there was 15 jurors. And we would be told of an event that had happened, and this event had happened in October 2020. So there had been quite a bit of time had passed, but the courtroom itself had no windows. There was an area for people to come in and observe the trial. Like the public could come in, they were welcomed. And right above where the judge sat, for some reason, I kept looking at it. There was this shield that I guess all the courtrooms here have them. And the shield usually has like the rampant lion, the unicorn, what does it have? It has Wales, Ireland, Scotland, and England represented on the shield. And then there is Latin written below it. And there's also like a helmet, like a knight's helmet there. And what I noticed about the shield is it was painted this really awful chocolate brown. Whereas in my memory, I always remembered that it would be highly polished, like brass, or it would be painted really colourful, like the unicorn would be white, the lion would be gold. And this shield was chocolate brown. And I kept thinking, oh, what is that about? And right in front of the jurors, we had the lawyer for the Crown, like the prosecutor. And his robe was in tatters. It was all frayed. When he got up, it was like it was in tatters. Like there was no other way to describe it. And I kind of wondered, like, what was that? Like, what was that? What kind of signal was that? You know, the shield is chocolate brown. The prosecutor is wearing a robe in tatters. The judge looks fine. I mean, he's got on his wig. He had a great voice. Like, I kept thinking to myself, he would be really good at audio, like books. Like, he had this really rhythmic tone to his Scottish voice and well educated. But like, I kept thinking, what is it? What are they telling us? Like the Crown's not doing very well, or was the prosecutor in tatters so that we would see that he's not the lawyer in the courtroom that makes money? And I mean, he was literally right in front of me. I couldn't take my eyes off his tattered robe. And the court case proceeded, and it was a circus. It was a total circus. We had a police officer sitting in the corner, and we heard this snoring. I kid you not. He was asleep. He was literally snoring in the corner. And I thought to myself, is this the world? Like, is this it? You know, is this what we have? Like, this is the best we can do, you know? And every, like, whether they were a defendant or an accused, seemed to be dealing with some really serious mental health issues, or entity controlled, like however you perceive that. There wasn't a soul in that courtroom that wasn't somehow like in some sort of trance or another. And this went on like it went on for days. It started, like, we were told to be there at 9:30, between 9 and 9:30. The case would start at 10. It never did. It was like, I actually kind of got the feeling that they were taking the piss. I don't know how many times, like, we went into the courtroom and we sat there, and a couple of words would be said, and then they says, okay, you can have an early break, and we would all go into this room, and there was 15 different people there, so you're talking about 15 different people who are perceiving all this differently, and we are putting together our own opinions. And yeah, it was bizarre. And the last day, where we had to go and deliberate about the case that we had just heard, which, to me, I felt like there wasn't anybody telling the truth. I didn't have the information that I needed in order to make an informed decision in regards to it. But it was the minute we sat down and started to deliberate, the friendliness went right out of the room. We were no longer really able to. Everybody had already decided the guilt of the accused or the not guilty, and we had three choices. It could be guilty, it could be not guilty, or not proven. And I was kind of sitting there thinking, none of them were able to prove to me the guilt or the not guilty. So I was of the position of it wasn't proven to me. But that was making people angry. People were getting angry. People were getting they were just, yeah, it was a circus. That's the best way that I can describe it. We're still trying to get a hold of our guest. Hopefully we will be able to do that. But it, I don't, like, if they were to record what happened on those, I think it was 4 days. It was over 4 days that I had been called to jury duty. A lot of people, like, had to call into their work, and I kept thinking about how much money it would be costing. I mean, there had to have been at one given time, there had to have been maybe 1, 2, 4 police officers. There were 15 jurors, there was a judge, there was 2 lawyers, there was also somebody, I forget what they call them, like maybe the deputy sheriff, that took the notes during the trial. And there was also a lady who, when there was pieces of evidence that they had in the courtroom, she would bring it up. And they also called in some witnesses, like there was a forensic, I don't know, doctor that came in, that studied DNA and blood analysis and stuff. So I started thinking about the cost, and I started thinking about like, if you took the 15 people who were missing like a day of work, or some were retired, it was just days out of their life. So if you could put like a dollar or a pound sign on that and multiply multiply it by 15. But we were also given lunch. We got to pick our lunch, and our lunch was delivered. And I was thinking, like 15 lunches, like over 4 days, 4 lunches. There was plenty of coffee, plenty of biscuits. And then I thought about the sheriff's salary. And I would actually say these things as we were sitting in the room, like all the jurors, like no, when we were actually in the courtroom, but we were in our own room, our deliberating room. I would actually say these things, like I would say, like, the sheriff is earning about 300 grand a year. At first, I thought maybe he's earning about 195 grand a year. And then I started looking at it, and other people started looking at it, and it's more like maybe 300 grand a year he's making. And I thought, that's it. That's quite a huge sum of money he makes. And mostly, like, I'm not saying that he wasn't well educated. He was. He was definitely well educated. But the trial itself was not like a big crime, like a murder or attempted murder. This was merely a petty crime. This was like just things had kind of grown out of control. And in my mind, during lockdown, a lot of people started to lose their mind, especially in the early months of lockdown. They just started becoming unraveled. And if they were already a little unstable to begin with, like with drug addictions and alcohol issues, they were really struggling, cut off with family, cut off with friends, couldn't visit, couldn't go anywhere. And like this was all over the world. This wasn't just happening in Scotland. And one of the things that I had noticed when we were in, like, especially when we were in the hard lockdown, where in the beginning, you weren't even allowed to take a walk in the park. Like there was police like stopping people who were out for a walk. Like it was more like it was supposed to be designated times, like you would go for maybe a walk once a day. And I mean, there was attempts to make it really, really what would you call it, cohesive. Like there was this real attempt to push down on people, like to pressure them. And I think in the first month or so, we were so confused about what was actually happening. I mean, I remember my mom. Now, my mom's an elderly woman. She's 80, and she actually called me one night, and that was the thing I kept thinking. She's by herself. I would pick up the groceries. I wasn't even supposed to go in. I had to leave them at the door. And we were kind of waving to her through a window, like me and my daughter, and it was the bizarrest thing. But I remember her calling me one night, and she said to me, wow, she says, how many diseases are there, Caroline? And I was like, what? What do you mean? I says, it's just one. I says, COVID-19. And she says, no, 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 no. There's SARS-2 and there's coronavirus. And I was like, no, Mom, that's just the one. They're just giving it different names. But it just shows you about the generations and how they interpret things. And I mean, my mom's the type that would watch the evening news or the morning news. So in her mind, she was thinking that there was more than one. And there was another point where she cried on the phone and had said to me that she felt like she didn't have a voice. And I think that was how a lot of people felt. And I had actually been volunteering for a grief counselling helpline. And the first month, the phone barely rang. And by the 5th week, it was ringing nonstop. And it was heartbreaking. It was really, really heartbreaking. But I won't really go into that in too much detail. But one of the other things that I noticed was the sirens that would happen. Police sirens, all times a day, all times a night, constant sirens that would, for myself, put you on edge, add to the stress that you were already feeling. And then there was this weird thing that started happening that was, I can't even remember what time of the day it was, but everybody was to go outside and applaud and clap for the NHS, which is the NHS is the National Health Service in this country. The first time me and my daughter were sitting in the living room and we could hear all this banging and ringing and shouting, and we're looking at each other going, what is that? What is that? And I kind of went to the window. I mean, this is how much we tried to stay away from being influenced by what was going on. We didn't even know that people were doing that, so we didn't even know what it was. We just could hear all this clapping and stuff, and of course, what the heck was that all about? Like, we gave it what, 6 months, and then it was people were starting to turn on the NHS. So like no everybody, just little small groups. And what it was, the care homes that had the elderly, they had no masks or what is it they call it, PPI or something. It's the protective gear, like the aprons, the gloves. They had none because the hospitals were keeping it all. So what was happening was, because of the way that it was being presented to the public, there was such a panic in people because we were all supposed to be dropping like flies. And there were people who were afraid to go to the care homes who worked there. But there was also like the really brave souls who went there and continued with their jobs and took care of the elderly. And there was something else that was happening when somebody actually got sick in a care home and they went into hospital. They were sent immediately back to the care homes. And that was something that I had heard on the helpline, the grief counselling helpline, and I heard it a number of times, how many people who may have been suffering from a stroke or maybe diabetes or cancer, or anxiety, and they had went into the hospital without any virus, and when they were returned to the care home, they actually took the virus into the care homes. So that was another thing. So pandemonium, panic, fear was the agenda. That was, and I'm not disputing that there wasn't a virus. That's not what I'm saying at all. How it was dealt with was inhumane is the only word that I can. Cruel beyond belief. Now, the other thing is, see, I swore that I'd already had it. Like before we even went into the lockdown in March, my daughter had come to the country, and she had come here to be with me. My daughter was born in America, and this was something that we were planning on for some time. And she arrived here, I think it was the 30th of September 2019. And I think it was probably the second week, maybe the first week that she was here, she got sick. And I mean, she got sick. She was in her bed, couldn't eat, and she had this horrible cough and headaches. And then after a couple of weeks, she started to feel better. I would say by about mid-November, she was feeling better, but she was tired all the time. And then she got sick again. And this time I got sick. And we were going into the beginning of December. And one of the things that I noticed with my daughter was she would have this continuous little cough, like even maybe 8 weeks later, she was still like doing this little cough. And at one point, the cough had got so bad with me, like I was just coughing, 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 coughing. It was like I couldn't even catch a breath. But I was fine after about 2 weeks, maybe even less than that. But I had went to the doctor, which you do, like, and I kind of knew in my head that there was nothing. And this was before they were even talking about COVID, because this was 2019, towards the end of 2019, and I had went to the doctors, and she just kind of looked at me and she says, "You have a virus." So I needed like what they call a sick note here to hand in because I was attending college at the time, so that I would still get the credits and not get penalised for not attending. So I went there and I handed in my script, my sick note. And one of the lecturers had also gotten sick, and he basically had a sick leave, and it was leading up to some of our finals. And I was not happy about that, because then we got a substitute lecturer coming in who didn't really know what we'd all been kind of working on. But when I asked about how he was doing, the response that I got was, "Oh, he's really, really sick. He has a terrible virus." And there was another student in my group that had went on vacation. I think he had went to Sedona, and this was in September, and he came back mid-October, and he got really, really sick. He was really, really sick. So I kept saying that. Like, I even remember saying it to my mom, like when we went into lockdown, that I think I've already had it. And she was like, "No, no, 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 no." And everybody that I was saying that to, I think Willow had it. I think I've had it. Like my daughter's Willow, and everybody was like, "No, no, no." And I was like, "Yeah, what I had was different for anything that I can kind of remember. Like there was definitely something to it, like the cough especially." And my daughter seemed to be hit harder than I was, and maybe I got a weakened version of it for her. I don't know, but I was fine after about 2 weeks. But I remember the other student in the class, he wasn't fine. It took him months, and the lecturer also wasn't fine. So yeah, and now it's starting to come out that that it was around. It was around maybe as early as maybe July 2019. So there you go, and there's more and more stuff coming out that is pointing in that direction. And we're coming up on a break here, so I will be right back with Navigating the Truth.
You're listening to Navigating the Truth with Caroline Bell Tumblety, where the truth survives and the lies are exposed.
I just want to assure you that everything is under control. There's been no damage except for some temporary malfunction of the radio.
Come be a part of this awakening by joining us in chat or by calling our hotline at 702-425-9230. That's 702-425-9230. Worldwide callers, find us on Skype at KCOR Radio.
We're pushing the ultimate frontier here.
Control must be maintained.
More disinformation exposed and the truth discovered. After a word from our sponsors.
1,000,000 miles till midnight. A story of timelines, artificial worlds, simulated races, and the galactic imprint. And the destiny of a blue world called Earth. 1,000,000 miles till midnight, written by Solaris Blue Raven, is a journey through the mind's eye which allows the reader to surf a wave of technological and multidimensional intellect, revealing a bridge between conscious design and the truth. A multidimensional bleed-through awakens the world of artificial intelligence to set sail into the frontiers of a vast multiverse. morphing planets and terraforming ascended worlds beyond the linear programs of a fated race. 1 million miles till midnight will awaken, inspire, prepare, and enlighten one to the many multidimensional states of consciousness and worlds we reside in. With every cell and atom, we are this truth and multiverse. 1 million miles till midnight. Written by Solaris Blue Raven. Available now at Amazon.com. Don't wait. Get your copy today.
1, 2, 3, 4!
To the KCOR Digital Radio Network.
I love the way it sounds.
Love the music. I listen all day.
The future of radio is here and now.
Alien Deceptions, a suspenseful sci-fi romance thriller by Tina Marie, featuring the tantalizing Erica Jones and the mysterious Russell Hamilton. An out-of-this-world book of fiction based on years of document facts and files the government does not want you to know about, at least not yet. Alien Deceptions by Tina Marie. Available now at Amazon.com or get a signed copy at TinaMarieEntertainment.com. Get your copy now.
Change your frequency, change your life with the Lemurian plug. The Lemurian plug is easy to control, it's simple to set up, and wireless. It helps to neutralize toxins and has restorative frequencies for healing. It also helps to protect you and your family from EMFs. The Lemurian plug is energy efficient and designed using ancient technology for a superior design. One unit can cover up to 1,000 square feet. This life-changing product is reasonably priced. And isn't you and your family's health worth a small investment? For more information on the miraculous effects of this plug or to purchase the Lemurian plug, visit thelumerianplug.com. That's thelumerianplug.com. The Lemurian plug is like nothing you've ever experienced. Order yours today.
Vegas, baby!
Vegas is #1 source for talk and new music.
How cool is that?
Going live in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to Navigating the Truth, the one show that peels back the masks of the elite and exposes the truth we're not being told.
Here to warn you. You must not abuse the power you've been given. Eventually, you will lose control of that power and the whole world will suffer.
Come partake in the awakening by calling the show at 702-425-9230. That's 702-425-9230.
Give us a call now.
Those around the world, connect with us on Skype at KCOR Radio. Follow us on Twitter at KCOR Radio or use hashtag KCOR. Come engage in the discussion live in our chat room at www.kcorradio.com.
Our survival depends upon it.
Now, back to examining the narratives and uncovering the truth with your host of Navigating the Truth, Caroline Bell Tumblety. Caroline Bell Tumblety.
Welcome back to Navigating the Truth, and my name is Caroline Bell Tumblety, and I will be your guide. We had scheduled a really lovely guest, Dick Larson, and we're kind of wondering what has happened to him. We're thinking maybe with the clocks going back over there, that it's just that thing where sometimes we're disconnected from the kind of the world, the automatic world, and we're sending out good vibes to him, and hopefully he will join us at some point. And so the first half I was kind of talking about my week, and then I kind of went on a wee rant about the state of things. So maybe kind of bring it up a wee bit and talk about some of the things that I have been doing in my life. My life has been very, very interesting. I don't believe I really signed up for all this. That's my consensus, and I'm sticking to it. that there's no way in heck that I would have signed up for some of this stuff. But then you would have teachers who would tell you that that's just kind of the way that we come here to learn. We jump in to a timeline to have experiences and grow and take them back to wherever we jumped in from. I have a wee bit of a problem with that one. So I do. There's too much horror here. There's way too much abuse of power here. There's a terrible unbalance that I see that tells me this place is no really a place. You know, it's like and there was even a point where, especially during the beginning of a lockdown, I actually even questioned if I was alive. That maybe I had died and I had kind of forgot when, and that I just had to somehow wake up out of the kind of, would you call it a nightmare, or like just this weird repeating dream that I just so no, I am alive. I'm very much alive, and there is still beauty in this world, and I take great joy for the beauty that is here. And also, there are some really, truly wonderful, gifted human beings here that we have the opportunity to hear what they have to say or read what they have written, or we can be really fortunate and actually interact with them. And that is really a real gift to this place that we are in. And I had done a lot of sweat lodges back in the day when I lived in New York. I did a lot of sweat lodges, went to kind of all different places, and there was a few of them that were they were really, really special, with the native teachers that would hold the ceremony and hold the space, and you would you'd be sitting in the dark, you know, you couldn't see anything. That was the whole point of it. It was like you're kind of going back into the earth or back into the womb, the mother. And there would be these chants, these haunting chants, and the heat, like the steam, the coals, like a lot of, and they would also they would burn like frankincense and sage and myrrh. So there was all these and you could not see anything. You would see when water was poured on the rocks, the rocks would kind of glow, and but you couldn't see the person sitting next to you. You couldn't see anything. Like, even although we were doing it together, we were very much in our own place. And I chanted in some of these ceremonies. It didn't even sound like my voice. Like, I could hear it and I knew it was me, but it almost felt like you for me anyway, it felt like that you went somewhere else, you know, and that was the whole idea. It was to kind of purify yourself and renewed, to come out renewed. I remember, like, there would be like 4 breaks, like because you would do the east, you would do the south, you would do the west, you'd do the north, and you would honor the beings of the east and the south and the west and the north. And I mean, I was a young Scottish woman. I had never really experienced anything like this. And even although, like, my dad in particular felt a great affinity for the native peoples, and which was really, really odd. You know, he wore his kilt and that, but I mean, I saw him cry at some of the documentaries that we would watch when I was younger. He had a great affinity for it. And I even remember that there was an exhibition in the museum in Glasgow in Scotland, and it was the ghost shirts. Like they had all the shirts from the ghost dance that had been, and you know, he wouldn't go into the room to watch the movie. He just felt that we had no right to have them in our country, that they should be given back to the people. He didn't live to see that happen, but that did happen. That happened about a year ago, that all the ghost shirts were returned to the native peoples because it was theirs. It didn't belong here. And why it was here, I didn't really quite understand either. But the history is Scotland is quite interesting. I think it was back in whenever Wild Bill, like he had a show that he would tour all around the world. I think it was the 1800s, late 1800s maybe. Well, that show was here in Scotland in a place called Duke Street, which is actually the longest street in Europe, as far as I know. And they would set up their show there, and there was a lot of native people that they brought with them who actually settled here. They never. If you enjoyed the show and you would like to hear the rest, please go to kcorradio.com and you can access the archives and hear the whole show. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye.